You're here to keep me straight. That's y'all's job. Kelsey can't reach over and tap on me this time.
Enjoy it, right, while you got it. Look at that.
All right, we'll go ahead and call today's meeting of the Marine Resources Commission to order. If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Associate Commissioner Bransom, followed by invocation by Associate Commissioner Erskine. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Thank you, Lord, for giving us this day here to gather at Virginia Marine Resource Commission to discuss these important issues. Allow us the knowledge and wisdom to do the best to our ability. Pray for this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Approval of the agenda. Are there any corrections, deletions, changes from the commission members or staff for the current agenda? And wave offs from my chiefs. Awesome. Thank you. I need a motion. And
Move to approve.
Ransom, second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Agenda is approved. Are there any corrections, deletions, or changes from the commission members to the minutes for the June 23rd, 2026 meeting?
Motion to approve as submitted.
Second. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
And I abstain.
And abstention from Ms. Kellum. Got it? Okay, at this time, I'd like to swear in the VMRC staff and the VIM staff that would be speaking, presenting during the meeting. A lot of you today. Do you solemnly swear testimony you provide will be the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you and have a seat. Chief Kenyon, did you have an introduction to make?
So I'd just like to take a quick minute to introduce some new staff in the Shellfish Management Division. So this is Nathaniel Curtis. He'll be joining us as one of our local area surveyors. So one of his main job duties will be doing our on-bottom oyster ground lease boundaries, actually going out, marking them in the areas, assigning plats. So he will absolutely help us with a little bit of a backlog we have. He comes with great experience working with small crafts in Virginia Beach, as well as some GIS experience. So we're very happy to have him over here in Shellfish Management.
Welcome on board. Welcome. Good to have you. All right. Anybody else? You're not sitting over there with the team.
I gotta move the table over there, I guess. Good morning, Commissioner, members of the Commission. I want to also take this opportunity to introduce a new staff member. To my right is Preston Hudlow. He is joining us as one of our field observers for the Protected Species Observer Program. Mr. Hudlow graduated from Old Dominion University in 2025 with a bachelor's degree in marine bio, and he then worked as a fisheries observer in Alaska before joining us briefly as one of our MRIP hourly surveyors. Comes with if he can do that, he can do this. So we are very happy to see him have that position filled. He's going to be out doing some good stuff in the field for us. That'll do it.
Good to have you, Preston. Appreciate you being here today.
Great first name.
I appreciate it.
And no bias there. For the record, I'll note that our Assistant Attorney General, Rep. Kelsey Block, is on the phone today. She's not present, obviously, because I have Will Bransom next to me. But she is here and she's listening. She's near the mic, so if she needs to say anything, she will speak up. Counselor, is there any, actually, let me do one other item first. Consent agenda items? No consent agenda items? Thank you. Counselor, is there a need for a closed meeting for consultation?
No, sir.
Thank you. All right, public comment for items that are not on today's agenda. Public comment on items that are not on today's agenda. Anybody here in the public wishing to speak? Got a couple of you. Sir, I'll start with you. Come up to the podium, please. State your name for the record.
My name is Roger Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
I reside in Manassas, Virginia.
Okay, we'll give you 3 minutes, sir. Start the clock.
I wouldn't have driven the 3 hours down here unless I thought it was pretty important. The purpose of my making comments is for two purposes. One is to state concerns of the decline in fish populations in the middle Chesapeake Bay western areas, particularly around Gwynns Island and the Piangatank River. And the second purpose is to state concerns regarding rockfish netting during the spawning season, particularly in Milford Haven. And I restricted the Milford Haven area because that is where we have waterfront property and what we have seen. My family and I have been coming to and fishing in Matthews County waters since the early 1970s. We fish both by hook and line, and I have also fished by gill netting. We have been waterfront properties there since 1980. At one time, we would always return home from our local fishing trips off Gwynn Island or Rigby Island with plenty of fish, 20 of fish, nice sized trout, blues, croakers, and spot. And for a while, I did extensive kayak fishing, having great luck catching trout and redfish. Now there are none. At one time, there were numerous boats recreationally fishing in this area. Now there are hardly any. Last year in all the fishing I did, I caught 2 redfish and 1 trout. This year, in the number of times I've been out, I haven't caught either of these species. What I do catch are very small spot and croakers, hardly worth bringing home. I have friends who are much more serious fishermen than I, who've also failed to catch a single meaningful fish this year. And for them, last year wasn't much better either. This challenge undoubtedly has multiple causes, including the extreme cold snaps we've had the past 2 winters. However, in our opinion, the problem has been growing for many years, not just these past 2. Although nothing can be done in the short term to address climate, there's one improvement that we can make, and that is, in our opinion, is to control gill netting more effectively. There is much concern that gill netting, which can be indiscriminate despite mesh size restrictions, has contributed significantly to the decline of fish populations, some of which surely justifies gill netting is nominally regulated by VMRC, but is really essentially uncontrolled and unmonitored. I haven't seen anybody in the marine area in our area for the past 2 years.
Mr. Anderson, your allotment is about up. If you could get to your final point here.
Okay, the point is, what our proposal is, I believe the ban on speckled trout recreational fishing should be extended for the rest of the year, and also that a ban be placed on all gill netting for speckled trout through December 31st of this year, and reassess the population at a time. Declining rockfish population, VMR regulation allows the gill netting of rockfish through March 15th every year. We have been witnessing gill netters in front of our property
Mr.
netting
Anderson,
large amounts of rockfish in February as they enter the creek to spawn. Specifically, I request that you modify the regulations to prohibit rockfish gill netting from 1 January to allow this fish to properly spawn and replenish the population.
Okay. Mr. Anderson, do you have written comment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you make sure and provide a copy of that to Mr. Simpson, and we will send your comments to the Finfish Management Advisory Committee?
Certainly, thank you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you being here today and making the comments.
Okay.
Ethan, make sure you get that over to the advisory committee. All right. Yes, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
State your name for the record, please.
My name is Jim Deaver, or James Deaver, just like Beaver except with a D.
Okay.
And I want to thank y'all for letting me speak today. Never done this before. I live in the Whitestone area, and my main fishing concerns are the Rappahannock, out in the bay and up to the Potomac area. But to start, this February, I was pulling my boat at the new Lancaster County Harpers Creek and Working Waterfront Complex. There next to the public boat ramp were two fishermen unloading their catch. It was around February 21st. They had what looked like 8 to 15 of the hard plastic boxes. Oh, sorry. And they were all full of rockfish. Every one of them was like 20 pounds, like 30 inches. And and I think anyone who denies that this is not helping to reduce the rockfish population and thinking recreational fishing should be restricted to one small medium fish a day, then close the recreational fishing on December 31st while commercial fishermen can continue to, pull the big cows out until March, I believe should be required to state the scientific reason and logic behind this. In 1994, legislation was proposed in Florida to ban all gill net and entanglement nets and to restrict seine nets to 500 feet. It succeeded with a vote of 72% of the public voting in favor, which resulted in a powerful recovery of red drum, speckled trout, and several other species. About 40 years ago, my mother worked and lived in Deltasville, and she had a customer that caught a sturgeon in his gill net, and he gave it to her. And I know this for a fact because I went there and she had it in her freezer and I saw it. It may not have been legal for her to possess it, but the point is that any fish caught in the gill net dies. I mean, they have no chance. And I know outlawing gill nets would be unpopular, but oyster harvesting was closed several years ago, and look now, we have oysters. I went fishing last week, took a couple of young boys that wanted to go spot fishing, and we fished all over the Rappahannock and around at the mouth of the bay there. And probably, it was 4 of us, fished about 6 hours, and we probably caught 40 or 50 fish. And we fished several places, up around Norris Bridge, Butler's Hole, out in Deep Rock, and I probably counted maybe 8 boats maximum. 20 years ago, 40 years ago, there would probably been 40 boats at each of those locations. It's got to be hurting the local economy to not have the fishing come back. I mean, just not only for the food, but also for the revenue that it helps with. 6 straight years ago, a guy at church was talking to a fisherman who had caught 3,000 pounds of trout in their pound nets, and they were all sent down to the Gulf for bait. I know that's hearsay, but I guess if we need to listen to stories like this and take some validity into them and do something, because not doing anything doesn't help anybody. A couple, 3 years ago, I went to a local seafood seller in Whitestone, and it was early in the season, and jimmies were very expensive, so I got a dozen female crabs, and got home, opened the bag. Every one of them was a sponge crab, and it's like, I can't keep a sponge crab. I don't want to keep a sponge crab, but one sponge crab can have like up to 1 million eggs in it. So I'm not sure why the commercial fishermen are allowed to keep sponge, stuff like sponge crabs, and also the dredging thing. I think Maryland would really appreciate it if we did. I don't know if that's still banned or not, but anyway, I should have done a little homework.
It is, sir, and your time's starting to wrap up, so if you
Okay,
get to your
I've got like
point.
a couple more sentences, I'll be done, thank you. I know VIM's just completed the big, sorry guys, renovation on their building there, and I know that costs a lot of money, but I think some of this money should be instead put into some, instead of long-term studies, put into actually restricting some fishing and policies. Maybe some of these species of fish need to be put on an endangered list so no one can take them. I'm hoping we all, commercial and recreational fishermen, can avoid that. Thanks for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Deaver. I see you have written. Would you like to share that so we can send it over to our advisory committee? Your written comment? Give it to Chief Simpson here.
I have a question.
Okay, Mr. Branson has a question for you, so come back up the podium. Come on back up.
My question is, where was this ramp you saw these rockfish being harvested?
Lancaster put in a new ramp. It's called the It's Harper's Creek recreational and seafood.
Did you get close enough to these fish?
I was from here to there.
Were they tagged? Were the rockfish all tagged?
I can't say whether they tagged or not.
I don't know, what color is it tagged this year? Anybody know?
Anybody remember what it is for the bag?
I don't know. But all rockfish harvested commercially are tagged.
They may be. There's a actual business there. They have a big, refrigerator thing.
But commercially harvested rockfish are tagged at point of harvest. So if you see suspected activity where you don't see rockfish commercially harvested or tagged, the best thing for you to do is to call the Marine Operations Center and make a report, and the Marine Police will investigate. Okay? If you think something is not going on right, and they can answer your questions as well.
They assume it looked like a commercial, like they knew what you're doing. But
Yeah.
I'll just make
Well, if
note.
it's not commercial, they're probably over limit
But just a
by a
little
lot. Thank you, sir.
bit. I appreciate it, Mr. Deaver. Okay, I thought I saw another hand. Sir, come on up to the podium. State your name for the record.
I'm Michael Shackelford.
Good to have you here, sir. 3 minutes, please.
All
Go
right, I'll
ahead.
be fast. Anyway, I've had oyster grounds, been in my mother's name for, I don't know, 20 years. And I got my life savings in this. And in May, made a mistake, something on the renewal, I'm planting on it. I got been planting on it for years and years on it. It's my livelihood, and my mercy is at y'all right here, what I put into it.
Okay.
And it was the girl, I knew my lease was due, okay, and I called down and talked to the lady on the phone. I said, I'll be down the next day, because I don't do nothing, Joe, on the paperwork and that kind of stuff is not with me. I don't do emails. I can look at the email. I can't send the email. I don't know nothing about that. My mother's 82 years old. I take care of her. So the day that I told her I'd be down here, I get down here, the office was closed. Okay, due to some reason, not sign on the door. So I called and scrambling, wanted to get my lease paid by May. Meanwhile, my best friend, his son, committed suicide, had everything going on, trying to get, so I get the number, get my daughter to go on there to pay my lease. Long story short, gets on, I said, got to pay this, got to be done for the end of the month. Okay, Dad, I said, darling, make sure it's paid. Gets the thing back, payment approved. I didn't, if I would have come in the office, they'd been open that day, I would have known that I had a $150 payment to make for a 10-year renewal. Okay, my mother didn't get no letter. I've asked her 1,000 times, Mama, you sure? No, honey. Anyway, my ground turned up for to be leased again. I just put $30-some $100 worth of shells on that in April. I planted shells. Inspectors give me permits for to bring oysters home from James River. I put a lot of time, a lot of my heart in that. That's really my retirement, because I'm gonna take care of my mother. She's not never going to a nursing home, and that gives me something where I can go make me a living, something to take care of my mother, because I'll never see my mother go nowhere. And I'm at the mercy of y'all right now, because I lost my ground, and something I put a lot of my heart into. And that's all I can say. It was an honest mistake, because my daughter, why didn't the other money come up on that, showing that I owed it? I don't do this paper, emails and all this stuff. I'm the worst, and I don't do it. And I'm begging y'all from the bottom of my heart, this is something that I'm working and put a lot of time in. My life has been in this here. I'm planning. I work with anybody I can. Like you talk about fishing, I take people fishing to show them that we're not out there to do nothing. I do everything I can to do what's right now. And I'm at the mercy of y'all right here today to please don't let me lose my ground for what I'm put into it.
All right, Mr. Shackelford, I appreciate that. Chief, can you enlighten us on the situation we're dealing with here?
Sure. So I've talked to Mr. Shackelford before. So oyster ground leases are areas in the Chesapeake Bay as well as the rivers that are leased by the state in order to do on-bottom oyster propagation. All of these leases through the Commonwealth are 10-year leases. Chapter 1350, as well as the guidelines, require that after 10 years that you reapply for these leases. In this specific situation, as Mr. Shackelford has said, we never received a paid application to renew this lease. Our general guidelines and our process, we worked specifically in this one 6 months in advance to notify them. We used the contact information that we have on file, so in this case, we sent the email. When we don't receive anything for 60 days, we don't believe it's appropriate just to rely on digital, so we send a certified letter as well. And when we don't get responses on the certified letter, we pick up the phone and we give a phone call as well, because we do know these deadlines are coming up. Mr. Shackelford, we did talk to him on the phone. He did come down here and try and pay it. It was a day that the office was closed, but we did not, this lease was not terminated for another month after that. Unfortunately, if a 10-year lease is not renewed, the Code of Virginia, specifically 613, requires the Commonwealth to terminate this lease. In addition, someone came in behind and applied for this area. So we also have Code Section 605 that requires the agency to deal with applications in the order in which they're received. So I don't even have the option of saying that, hey, this ground was lost, you need to reapply. So in this specific situation, but really this applies to all oyster ground leases, this 10-year lease renewal was never applied for and never paid for renew, and that's ultimately why it was terminated. And although unfortunate, I don't necessarily have a path forward that I've talked to Mr. Shackelford about. I'm happy to take any questions and give further
Questions
detail. if needed.
from the board? Mr. Brandt? Mr. Erskine?
I just wanted to know when this took place.
So I can give you a very brief timeline. So January 13th, 2026 is when it was originally sent an email for a 10-year lease renewal. When that wasn't responded, there was a certified letter sent out on April 2nd. When that wasn't responded, there was a phone call on May 6th, and that's when Mr. Shackelford tried to come down on the 7th. And ultimately, this lease was terminated on June 11th. So a 6-month process from beginning to end, trying to get the application in and processed.
And a follow-up question?
Yes,
sir.
please.
When did the new application come in for the lease?
I don't have that in front of me, but off the top of my head, it came in just after that, so I believe it was the end of June, probably almost 2-3 weeks later, I believe June 22nd, but somewhere in that range.
Thank you.
Mr. Brandt?
Chief, when a lease expires like this, is it advertised or is it just put on the website as it's open available?
So the way oyster ground works is any ground that is not already assigned is open for application. So there's no separate application or separate advertisement. If something is available, it is always open for application.
Follow-up? Yes.
And has this specific ground that Mr. Shackelford is talking about, has it already been leased to another individual?
No, it's just been applied for. So
Applied for.
we have an active application on that same area.
Thank you.
Ms. Callum?
Could you explain the fee that his daughter paid and the outstanding fee that
Sure.
wasn't in place?
Absolutely. So it is a 10-year lease, but each year annual rent is due. So the payment that Ms. Gentle came down and paid was the annual rent. So you have to keep up with your annual rent to be able to use your oyster ground year after year. In addition to that, if you want to reapply for an additional 10 years, it is a $150 application and fee for that. So the $150 was never paid, but the annual rent, just like every year, was paid.
Let me ask, Mr. Erskine, go ahead.
Just wondering about harvest records, mandatory reporting.
I won't comment on those. They are confidential, so I won't comment on those publicly, but that is part of our 10-year review. When we do look at if someone does apply for reapplication, one of the requirements you do need to meet is 1 bushel of harvest per acre per year. So that is something that we do review once it is applied for.
Okay, was that?
So
Mr. White?
he came down and paid his first year of his next 10-year lease.
He came
but
down-
did not do the renewal for the lease.
He came down and paid the last year of his 10-year lease, but did not
For the
pay for
last
the
year.
next, an application to reapply for the next 10 years.
So the old lease expired June of this year. And
Correct.
so it's open right now.
It is open, however, we have an active application on
Right.
it, so we
And
would
he
have to
hasn't
take
paid-
those in the order which we receive them.
and he hadn't renewed or paid paid the year annual lease.
Correct.
Okay.
Two questions I have. One, what was the date you came down, the office was closed?
Was it 27th?
Of which month?
Is it,
I can't recall.
May. May.
What were we closed for?
I've got on here, I've got through my records May 7th, so Mr. Shackelford have different records on which day. Mine
Yeah,
goes from our phone log, so it may be one of those times where we had water difficulty problems at the office.
Like I said, I had to go online to pay it. If I'd have walked in here, I would have known about the additional money. I would have known if I'd have walked in and talked to a lady, she'd have said this, well, I didn't walk in. I was nervous. My daughter went online.
Don't go anywhere, chief.
We didn't pay it here. She paid it on, through, however you do, through the email. And we got receipts for that. It come up $400 some on that. It's not that I was paying, not like I missed a year payment on it. You can't do that. It was just whatever it was, $150 on it. Then he says a certified letter. A certified letter, my mother would have had to sign for it. And
Did we get a return on that?
And I've asked for that.
I would have to look. I see where the certified letter was sent out, but I don't have the return in front of me.
Okay, second question for you. I understand the code section, you know, the applicant, whoever they are, is done within the law, they've made an application. Have we advertised it? Because it has to be advertised.
It has been accepted. I would have to look and see if it's been advertised.
Okay, so that's the next step, right?
Correct.
So he could protest this application.
Absolutely. Everyone has
Aware of
the
that,
ability
Mr.
to-
Shackelford? You were able to protest the applications being made on the very ground you're talking about?
Okay? I'm not, that's why I'm
Okay.
in front of y'all, because I don't understand.
We can't, the code does protect the applicant. They have the right to put in the application. I can't change the code. But you also have the right, if you so choose, to protest the application. Now, I don't know if you would have cause before this board in the protest, but I'm just making sure you're aware of your rights to protest.
Okay, how do I?
Chief will definitely inform you about that.
Like I said, the certified letter, I've asked my mother. She would know, she'd have had to sign for it, certified letter. And I asked one time, she told me that you didn't have to sign for it.
They don't have to be signed for
The
certified.
ones
letter.
we're sending don't have to be signed?
No.
I've never
They'd
heard
be
of a certified letter.
certified and tracked for delivery.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, we're not gonna be able to solve this today, Mr. Shackelford. I've given you an option. The code is the code, and I'm reading through it right now just to verify everything. You know, Chief Kenyon's right, but you do have, as a citizen, you have the right to protest. And since it hasn't been advertised yet, you know it's coming. So my suggestion, if you want to protest it, is that be notified when it goes out for advertisement. And that means if it's protested, and correct me, Chief, it will have to come back to us.
Correct. And just to clarify, it is advertised on our website. I do not know if the newspaper ad has been published yet, but it is available on our website for
Okay,
comments.
make him aware where that is, especially since he has stated the challenge with the electronic.
We
Please.
take written comments here at the agency as well, just for the benefit of everyone. We do digital as well as written comments.
Mr. Shackelford, I'm not gonna predetermine what my decision or the decision of this board is gonna be, but we will make sure you get a proper chance to be heard on this matter.
Okay?
Fair?
What do I have?
Chief's gonna walk you through it,
Oh, okay, thank you.
okay? I think that's fair from the board, members of the board?
Yes, sir.
Make sure? Okay. Is that all, Mr. Shackelford?
Yes.
Thank you, sir, for coming today. Anybody else wish to speak during public comment for items not on the agenda? Okay. Moving on. What was the comment we had around back about short meetings? Okay, moving on. Let's see. Permits, projects over $1 million with no objections and with staff recommendations for approval. Deputy Chief.
Good
to see you.
morning, members of the commission. I only have one page 2 item for you this morning. You'll be acting as the Wetlands Board. And if I may just take a minute to comment on the length of our agenda today. As you notice, one page 2 item. For page 2 items, we really don't have any control as to when they come to you because of their cost. We're required by code to bring certain items to you when they exceed $1 million in cost. And if you're acting as a wetlands board for a tidal wetlands project or a beach and dunes project, we bring those to you monthly. Sometimes you may see 1 or 2, sometimes we may have 7, 8, 10 projects. Also, just a brief comment about our page 1 agendas. When you see very few projects on here as page 1, I would hope that you recognize the hard work that our staff is doing. If we're doing our job, we are keeping our page 1 items limited and minimum before you. We try to resolve administratively all protested, all neighbor protested, controversial projects, violations, things that normally would have to be resolved by the commission. We try to do that first and foremost in-house. And so today, even though it's only one project, and I think this project will go through smoothly, our staff has done an excellent job of keeping the agenda limited. Just want to make sure you all were aware of that, especially when we have such limited agendas.
Aware and greatly appreciated.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Having said that, I'll read the page 1, page 2 item into the record. 2A, Tuscarora Beach Association is requesting authorization to extend an existing timber groin 10 feet landward at 194 Rio Vista Lane, situated along the Rappahannock River in Essex County. You all are acting as the Wetlands Board for the Beach and Dune jurisdiction here. If you have any questions, please let us know.
Any questions for Deputy Chief Worrell? Seeing none.
Motion to approve page 2, items 2A.
All right.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Second.
Had a second already, but thank you. And no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Nice and sweet, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is item number 6. Ms. Massey, VMRC, item 2026-0060. Ms. Harris,
Good morning.
see what a Hokie can do today.
I do my best.
I know you will.
Alrighty. So again, I'm Kylie Harris. I think I've been before all of you before. I represent the areas around the Rappahannock River as the regulator for the Habitat Division, and today we are here to hear Ms. Deanna Massey's project, VMRC number 2026-0060. They're requesting authorization to install an 82-foot long and an 83-foot long stone sill, backfilled with clean sand and native wetland plantings for the construction of a living shoreline. And this is adjacent to their property at 38 Point Cove Lane, which is along Bush Park Creek in Middlesex County. And the reason you're hearing this today is because it's protested by an adjacent property owner. If you're unfamiliar with the Middlesex area, this is the project location. It's between Deltaville and the Norris Bridge that heads over to Lancaster. Then here's a quick parcel map to get you guys oriented to the area. The red star, the northern property, that is the protestant, Mr. Smith, and then the blue star represents the Massey's property, who are the applicant. Here's one with an aerial over top of it so you can get oriented. Again, this is the property of the applicant where the living shoreline is proposed. So the gist of this project is to construct a living shoreline consisting of 2 stone sills with a 10-foot gap in between. They want to install some select sand backfill in areas where there's no vegetation right now, and then plant those areas to create a living shoreline. The mean low water mark, which is the jurisdiction of the commission, is in blue. So as you guys can see, you have very limited jurisdiction in this project, just a select portion of the stone sill. This project also is being reviewed administratively for processing of a living shoreline general permit for Group 2. Those ones we are able to approve administratively as long as there is no neighbor protest. So once we receive the protest from the neighbor, that's why we're here before you for a subaqueous permit. Here is a quick cross section. Again, here's where mean low water hits right about in here within the stone sill. So that's the limited commission jurisdiction on this project. Here are some site photos. So this picture, I'm standing on the applicant's dock and looking north up towards the protestant's property. You can see some stakes here which are representing the edge of the sill. And then I'm standing a little bit further up on the property now to get a clearer view of the staked alignment right here, right along the edge of the marsh. for the landward side of the sill. And I was there at about a mid-tide. Low tide comes basically right up to the grasses. Here's another image to show staked alignment, not impacting any vegetated wetlands also. One more photo. And in summary, since this project was protested and no longer qualified for a living shoreline general permit, the Wetlands Board did have to hear this project. They approved the project as proposed. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers issued their standard general permit for these types of projects. VIMS did conduct a site visit for this project, as well as provide comments, which were in your briefs. They did recommend a consideration of a core log sill. However, if stone was still desired, to reduce the footprint of the stone sill, to reduce impact to sebaceous lands and non-vegetated wetlands, and to be very specific about the placement of the sand as to not suffocate any existing vegetation and to match the elevation where the vegetation would likely thrive. Then for the protests and concerns, you probably saw in your file there were 2 different comments. One of them was the initial protest we received. The second one was specifically for the Wetlands Board hearing. But the gist of the concerns provided by Mr. and Mrs. Smith were upland land disturbance and erosion, as well as the method of installation for this project. I did discuss this with the contractor/agent who is here today at length. They are planning to install the sill, at least by barge at high tides, trying to float a small barge in there to offload the materials. And that would reduce the upland disturbance and sebaceous bottom disturbance. And any more concerns regarding the uplands should be handled with the county. That is within their jurisdiction within the RPA. I know that the applicant and protestant had gone back and forth about that before. And then regarding sand migration into the waterway, decreasing water depth, we don't anticipate this happening too much. Every shoreline has to settle a little bit. The applicant's pier is also located approximately 200 feet closer to the channel of the mouth of the creek than the applicant's. So we don't anticipate the protestant needing to really navigate right in front of this living shoreline, as their pier is located 200 feet north of this. While we take into consideration the protests and concerns raised by Mr. Smith, this project as designed would have been approved administratively. After considering the protestants' concerns and all the factors in 28.2-1205A and 28.2-104.1, which is the living shoreline section of the Code of Virginia, we recommend approval of the project as proposed, with the standard living shoreline conditions, which are using 90% clean sand fill and planting native vegetation. And I am happy to answer any questions you may have. I know that the contractor/agent is here. The protestant maybe, I did not see their name on the sign-in sheet though.
Ms. Herrick, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir?
I understand Virginia Institute of Marine Science had recommendations of this project, and those recommendations were incorporated into the final design?
Yes, sir. As you guys read in the eval, the considerations that VIMS provided regarding the sill and the placement of sand were incorporated by the applicant and agent.
Okay, any questions from the board? Seeing none, thank you, don't go too far. Is the applicant present and wish to speak? Good morning.
Good morning.
State your name for the record.
Brian Fletcher.
Swear you in. You solemnly swear the testimony you provide will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, so give you 5 minutes to speak on the application if you need to. Though Ms. Harris did an awfully good job, but do you have anything you'd like to
I think
add?
Ms. Harris covered most everything. I'll be glad to answer any questions, but we've been in business since 2003, done over 5,000 jobs, and this is the best job for that property.
Like my attorney's speaker there. Okay, any questions for the applicant? Seeing none. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
May call you back up. Is anyone here to speak in favor or against this project? Anyone to speak in favor or against this project? Going once, going twice. Seeing none. Okay. Ms. Harris, you have anything you want to add?
No, sir. Thanks for sticking it with me on this light agenda today.
All right, matter is before the board.
Move to approve staff recommendation.
All right, I have a motion from Mr. Ransom to approve, second by Mr. Erskine. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? You guys have it. What time is it?
It's 12 minutes after, sir.
Wow. I don't know if that's a new record for this commission, but I think it may be close to one. Well, with there being no further business, the meeting is adjourned. The next commission meeting will be held Tuesday, August 25th, 2026.
Nice job for the staff.
That's right.